Okay, hello. Today we're going to be building a personalized cold outreach system. And here I have some of the results of that, which I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like. So we start off here with a simple title, website, description of the person running the business, summary of the business, their contact information, and we have an icebreaker. Okay, now there's two things I want to point out from the start of the video so that you guys can understand why this system is so good. This is done using Firecrawl and GPT. This is what most personalized outreach systems use, is they use Firecrawl to get the website, GPT does the analysis, and then comes up with an icebreaker. Now it's good, but it isn't that good. Like, it's not the best. Like, this is the icebreaker we got from this. Hey Hanif, love Calgary Dental Centers, big fan of direct doctor care and emergency streamline intake. It really isn't the best. Then, this second one is the same thing, but look at this message. Hey, Dr. Hanif, I see you're running 17th Avenue Dental and specialize in pediatric sedation. How is that going compared to your MacLeod Trail location? This is way more personal. And the reason is because this used GPT Firecrawl like this one, but it included Gemini Deep Research. So I'm going to show you how to build a workflow where we're going to integrate deep research on the lead. So this gets a website and GPT analysis. This gets a website and this. I'll open this for you to see. Comprehensive analysis of Calgary Dental Center's operational structure, clinical services, and patient care paradigms. So this gets a bunch of other stuff. You can see here's the dual location strategy I was talking about. And when it says site 1, you can actually go and check the sites of its work, right there. Now, I have another example here. Look at this one of a marketing agency. Let's say you wanted to reach out to Full Blast Creative. Now you have two options. You can reach out with, hey team, love the dedicated roofing 900K impressions case study. We automate reporting, lead capture. Or you can say, Crystal, that 2300% case traffic growth is legendary. Love FBC's lead with creativity, drive with data mantra. Let's chat. Or this one I believe is also for this company. Michael, tripling MacLeod's leads at zero extra spend is wild. You've done remarkable work since the 2002 G8 site. Why is this better? Because it got as well as the website and the GPT analysis, it also gets this, which is deep research. Now there's one more thing before we get into the build. That last thing I want to show you is this. Look. Now, when I changed the prompt for the deep research and I said make it focused on the lead, not the business, here's what we got. Hanif, I really admire your commitment to keeping a no-pressure philosophy at the heart of your practice. Was it difficult to maintain that for almost 40 years? This is probably between these three for Hanif. This is probably the best one. I'll go with that one. And I'll show you why. This is a full analysis of him, not the business. It's him and the business. Identity and role, for operational philosophy, scope of services, biographical profile. You have where he studied, what his experience is, where his operational hours are, financial policy and insurance, clinical services. You get so much stuff. Now, if you give this to an AI and tell it to craft a personalized outreach message, it can do that. As you can see, it can do that. Anyways, today we're going to be building this from scratch. So I'm going to show you how to build it right off the bat so you guys can see what it is. And yeah, so before we do that, I'll just show you what the workflow looks like before we go through how to build it. This is it. I built it some time ago. It uses Appify to get the websites and the emails. It uses Firecrawl to do analysis of the website. That analysis is fed into, it scrapes the website with this. The analysis is done by ChatGPT. ChatGPT feeds in the HTTP requests to the Gemini Deep Research node. This will check if the node is done researching. This will do the research. This will check if the research is done. There's a 3-minute wait here and a 1-minute wait down here, because deep research takes a minute. We get the icebreaker, and it goes into the sheet. So this is the flow right here. It's very, very, very effective at doing personalized outreach messages. So let's go through how to build it from scratch. So we'll start here on a plain n8n campus, and we'll go over how to build it. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so I'm gonna start with just a manual trigger, okay? And this is gonna connect to our lead source, right? Our lead source, which is Appify. So we're gonna go to Appify right here. We're gonna do run an actor and get a data set. Now here's the thing where you can really change what it is that you want the actors to do. And I'll show you how you do that. So first of all, you have to have an Appify account. And the good thing is when you sign up for Appify, you get $5 of free credit every month. Every month it resets, you get $5 new. So I've never paid for Appify. All this time, I've just used my free Appify credits. So make sure you just make an Appify account and you go to appify.com. You want to go to console. Once you signed up, you can go to the console. Okay, then you're just gonna go to this here. We go to settings, API and integrations, and here you have it. Create a new token or copy an existing token, whichever one you want to go for. You get the default one, which you can always use the default API token, so it doesn't really matter. You go API key, paste the API key in. That's literally all you gotta do. Okay, now we're gonna do actor, run actor and get data sets. Mine's recently used actors because I'm gonna use this one. But here's the link for you all. If you don't have access to it, copy this link and paste it into your browser. Okay, that's all you gotta do. And when you do that and you open this page, you open the JSON, you can see here are all the things that we can actually manipulate in terms of the JSON schema. Right? There's a couple of things that we can change that we will change, and we'll go through that in a second. So I'll show you where we put that in is over here. The input, we're going to go with JSON, and we're going to paste in this JSON. Now this is the country code. We're going to have just Canada, and then you're going to have the queries, which is Calgary Marketing Agency. You have your max pages per query, and then you have max results per page, which is this one. So by default, it will give you 1 page per query, but the results per page is usually set to 10. So you get 10 results for every page that you have. And you go here and you can look at the cost of running this. It's pay per event. So look, you will get 1,000 leads for under $5. And you get $5 for free right here. You get $5 for free. So you don't really need to, worry about this. It's not gonna, you can run this for a while and get 1,000 of them before you have to up your budget or put money into the usage. Okay, so if you want to change this, you can change it. For example, instead of Calgary Marketing Agency, I might decide to do, I don't know, Toronto restaurant, or how about we do Toronto, and let's put this down just to 5. I will say Toronto Med Spa. Okay. The rest is, you don't really need to bother with the rest of that. You can leave it there. Now, you want to see what happens when I run this, is I'll click this. It's gonna run it. It's done. And you can see we have here now a lot of stuff, right? A lot of results, but we need to figure out which part of the results do we need. And the answer, by the way, is the organic results. So we need the organic result. Okay. So we need these organic results. We have Midtown Med Spa Toronto, North Medical Spa. Rejuvenation Medical Spa. So we have some med spas. This is just assuming that we're targeting med spas, right? So we're gonna go and we're gonna put another node here, which is a split node because you can see it's in one item. We're gonna split, grab the organic results. Here it is. Put it there. And now you can click on this and just you can press the pin icon up here so you don't have to keep on spending money to run it. We can work with the data we have right now by just pinning it. So we execute that, we get these 9 items here. Title, URL, displayed URL, description, emphasized keywords, site links, production. Like we got a bunch of stuff about these med spas. We got 9 of them, right? So what we want to do now is we want to set a limit because we don't want to trigger too many API requests at once. That can always flag your account and you might have get certain errors like this service is receiving too many requests from you. So to avoid that, we want to use wait nodes, and we also want to just structure it properly. So we're going to add a limit node here. So I'm going to put a limit to restrict the number of items, and I'm going to put 10. Obviously, if I run this now, all 9 will, obviously, the limit is 10, and I have 9, so they're all going to go through, which is fine. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is a loop. Now we want to have a loop because we don't want to feed all 9 items into Firecrawl all at once and tell it to scrape them all, right? We will do it one at a time, one lead at a time. So if I go here, loop, and I go loop over items into a batch, you can see this is what it looks like. So just delete this, and delete that. Set the batch size to 1. That's perfectly fine. And for the looping branch here, you're going to put Firecrawl. Okay, we'll update this. Another thing while this does that is I will open Firecrawl for you to have a look at. Firecrawl is another one that you get free credits on you log in, you sign up, you get free credits, right? You can see, look, here's my API keys. I've never paid for this. If I go to usage, credits. I have credits. Never paid. Never linked a credit card to it. Go on Firecrawl, use your free credits first, test out the system. If you like it, then pay. All right. Okay, so we're gonna go to Firecrawl and we're gonna go to scrape URL and get its content. Okay, right there. And so, okay. Before we do that, let's just go ahead and run this loop node so we can get the first item through. I'm gonna go to my Firecrawl account. Actually, it doesn't matter. I can use the outreach agent because even if we look at my API keys, I have this outreach agent here, which again, pretty much has no usage at all. So we can just use that, it's fine. And here you're gonna drag the URL into the resource. Well, actually, sorry, we'll drag the URL in, but we need to open the fields first. So we'll go here and we'll go to, not crawling, we're gonna do scraping. So go scraping, scrape a URL and get the content. The URL here, you'll drag in and put this there. Okay, next we're gonna go to scrape options, go to choose, we'll add format, put markdown. And I think what else we'll have to do is wait for this. This is 30,000, that's okay. Sorry, 30,000, that's fine. Proxy basic, custom body. Okay, so let's go ahead and just pin this for faster execution. Because now I want to go ahead and run the Firecrawl and show you what the output is. So I'm going to run this. Okay, let's look at Milton Med Spa. Toronto's premier med spa. Look younger, feel your best. At Midtown Med Spa, our goal is to optimize your health and appearance from laser skin. Okay, so it's a bunch of stuff, right, on the page of the med spa. And we go look at this thing. to this video. Okay, there's a video, but we have the markdown. Okay, we have the markdown there, which is what we needed from this Firecrawl. So if you look at the markdown, it's very hard to understand this right now because it's very messy. And so to help with that, we're gonna use ChatGPT. Okay? So now we don't want to just connect this directly to ChatGPT because there's a chance that this can fail. And because we're looping through it, we want to have a case that in case it fails to get the actual stuff, it should route it back into the loop. So we go to settings and then you go to on error and you're going to do continue using error outputs. Now here, the error output will just drag this back into there. However, when an item has succeeded to go through the Firecrawl, now we're going to go to press the plus, go to OpenAI chat model. I'm going to just pick my OpenAI account, the regular one that I have. Model, you can really pick any model you want. I'm going to just go ahead and use GPT-5. So we'll go here to GPT-5 and we're going to add a couple of messages to this. So add option and let's look for, yeah, that's an LLM chain. OpenAI message of model. GPT-5, 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 there it is. Okay, so I'm gonna delete this. I'm gonna add a message which is gonna be for the system. And we're gonna just basically give it a personality with this. So we can say something like, you are a helpful and intelligent website scraping. You are a helpful, intelligent website scraping assistant. Okay, that's fine. I think honestly, that's honestly fine. And now I'll add message. This will be the user message. And what we'll say is, let me make it full screen. Scrape and extract as much business information from the page and linked resources as possible, including social media and contact data. We have what we want from it. We have the instructions and the behavior. This is written by Mark Sarayev, so I'm not going to take credit for that, but that's his. What I'll do is I'll put this all in the description. So this is his system prompt. That'll be that's our user message. And then we're going to have another user one, which is just going to be the markdown from this node. So let's connect this here. The markdown is going to go in there. Okay, perfect. I don't think there's anything else that we need to do, except what we can do is go to reasoning effort, and we can put the effort to low, and the summary to none. Now if I execute this step, I'm also going to go ahead and just pin the Firecrawl data. So just pin that. All right, look, this is supposed to output structured JSON, and as you can see, it's failed to do that. I want you just to look at this. It's put it in text. Okay. If I get rid of this reasoning really quickly and I try this again, I mean, the summary is good. Midtown Med Spa is a Toronto medical spa offering whatever, whatever, whatever. This is perfectly fine information. But it's supposed to be in JSON, not text in a style of JSON, which is what it gave us. So let's execute that step again. And let's hope that it gives us something better. So I removed the reasoning part, and as you can see, it still seems to have wrapped the JSON inside of a text, which is not what we need at all. We don't need that. We need the actual items, right? We need the items to be actually correctly outputted. We need them to be in JSON. So this clearly is not working. So we're gonna have to do some debugging here and wonder why. If we look at this system prompt here, full output schema. Perhaps if I make this assistant. Well, let's see. I've made it system. I've turned it to a system prompt, which would be mm, giving it more of a more adherence regarding its behavior execution error. Let's let it run. I think it's gonna give us the JSON. Okay, so it finally gave it to us properly. Summary, like we have the things that are actually separated as they should be. And I realized what the problem was. The problem was that I forgot to go down here. All you do is add option, and then you pick output format. You select JSON object and verbosity as medium, and now obviously we're getting JSON because we set the output format to be JSON, right? I didn't do that before. Okay, cool. So another thing, I'll just pin this. So we get this JSON data. Now we need to extract some things from that data. So I'll go here and I'll go set. So set means we can edit fields. The first thing we're going to get is the title. Now, the title is going to be from here. If I look at this, if I look at the Appify node, I have a title. So I'm going to just put that here. And I'm going to call it title. Okay. And then the URL that we did in this run is stored in the loop. So I'll pull this URL here and leave it as that. And the summary came from ChatGPT, so we'll put that here, and this I will just call it summary. Okay, so if I run this, we're getting 2 items. Yep, because we have a loop running, so we can just clear execution and execute the workflow from the start. So we get this 1 item. Visit Ms. Is that correct? Okay, let's do this. This is not right. This is Midtown Med Spa. So the title will grab it from the split node right there. So again, I'll clear execution data and run this again. Midtown Med Spa. Okay, now I'll pin this. So grab this from the split node. To be fair, we can actually we can pull all of that stuff in from the loop, right? This got it. Pull it in from the loop. It's much more secure. So we know everything is actually up to date after this point because we've pulled all the data from there. So we'll clear this and run it one more time. Although it was pinned, so I'll actually need to unpin it. Perfect. Okay, cool. Now, here comes the magic node, the one that is going to change everything. The HTTP request node, which allows us to use Gemini's Deep Research. So press the plus. HTTP request. Change the method to post, and you're gonna go to the URL. Here it is. I'm gonna make it full screen just so you can see. And you're gonna paste it, and here you're gonna put your actual API key. Okay, so we're gonna remove all that. So here you're just gonna paste in the URL. So actually, let's do this. Let me cut that out. Okay, so you just paste in the URL like this, which is going to be in the description as well. And where it says key equals, after equals, you put your API key. So as you can see, I've pasted my API key after the equal sign. So just go ahead and do that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we need to send specific headers. Now here's where you need to really pay attention because you need to get this part right, otherwise this node is just going to fail. Okay. All right, the first thing is we're going to go and we're going to pass the content type as application/JSON. Okay? Turn on send body, and the input is going to be find out everything about this person. Now, who? Who is the person? We're going to grab the title from the set field. We're going to grab the URL. We're going to grab the summary. Everything about the person. Let's do this. Everything about the person who runs this business and everything about find out everything about the person about the person who runs this business and everything about the business. We'll just go with that. Add a parameter. Agent is going to be set to the agent we're going to use. We're going to use the Deep Research Pro preview from December 2025. Okay, this will call it the background and we'll set that to true. So it doesn't have to ask us for permission. It can just go ahead and start. I think that's all the parameters. So now if I clear this execution data and I run this, okay, invalid JSON, no such field input. No such field input. I'm telling you, the parameters are so tricky for this one. Interesting. Okay. So I've just gone to Gemini. I'm going to the use the Pro model. And I said today is the 18th of Jan 2026. I'm getting this error from the node, invalid JSON, no, 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 and I've just pasted in the thing. So let's see what it says. I'll let you know what it says. So it's giving me some solutions here, but I'm going to say that I'm using the model. The Deep Research Pro Preview 12 2025 model. Let's see what it says. I figured it out. Gemini didn't really give anything useful, but I just realized something. Kept rereading the error message and I realized there's a little space here, right in between this little tiny single quote and this there's a tiny space. And I came down here and I realized I had put input in the space, so you can't see the space, but there's a space right there. Now I did an input and put in space bar just like by habit. So if I backspace that, and we have it. Perfect. Okay, so we have the deep research now in progress. Okay, so I'm going to clear the execution from this and run it again. Although we might get an error that there's been too many requests, but let's see. Yep. Okay. So we run it a lot of times in the last couple of minutes. There's a error request error, which is perfectly fine. It's normal to have that. I'm gonna just wait for some couple of minutes. But anyways, what we can do is we can just go ahead and continue setting up the rest of the remaining workflow while we wait for it to clear. So we'll go here. This is exactly why we put a wait node here of 3 minutes. So go to 3 and type minutes. And then we're going to have another HTTP request. And this is going to check if the deep research is complete. So we're going to have get. And now in the URL, I'll make it full screen. It's going to be the same as before, but we're going to have generative language.googleapis.com/v1beta/interactions. You're going to write JSON ID. This will come from the HTTP request. Okay. And the key, you're going to just paste your API key. So I have my API key in there. All right. That's this. So this will check if this deep research has concluded, if it is done. All right. So then what we'll do is we'll put an if node. And we're going to say if, and now we actually need to run it. So, okay, but basically what we're going to do is we're going to go to if here, and we're going to check what the actual status is of the what's the progress. Okay, so here we'll go to this, and we're going to put expression, do this, write JSON dot status, and if it's equal to completed, and don't put a space bar, don't type space, don't type space. So we're gonna see if it's equal to completed, and if it is completed, then we're gonna go do something else. But if it's not completed yet, we're going to wait another 1 minute. Okay, and then we're gonna check again. Cool. Cool. Okay, so if it is completed, then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna pull out certain things. So I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go to set. Okay, let's see if the thing is done now. If I clear execution and I run this. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, as you can see, we now have a HTTP request working perfectly well. This is gonna be a 3 minute wait. This is gonna check if it's done. This is gonna route depending on whether it's done or it's not. So we can wait the 3 minutes and then resume from there. Okay, so as you can see, it ran, and on the first check, it wasn't completed, so it went back in, and on the second check, it was completed, so it went here. I'm just going to go ahead and pin those. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is arrange it to be better suited for when we plug it into the Google Sheet. So if we go to the GPT node, we got the first name and last name right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the first name. I'm going to press space. I'm going to put a comma, and I'm going to put the, where is it? Uh, should be in Firecrawl. I'm looking for the metadata. Where is it? Here it is, metadata. Where's the OG title? Uh, let's see if I can find OG. It's not there. Okay. Well, we can just grab this title as is. Where is it? What business was this called? Midtown Med Spa. We'll put that there. Okay, so if we look at this, it looks at this Tracy, whoever, Midtown Med Spa. And the next thing we want to put now is the actual HTTP request, which is this one. Should have given us the text. Where is it? Text, 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 text. Where is the text? Here it is, text. Okay, so we'll put that there. And that is the actual, this is the deep research. Okay. And this is the lead. So as you can see, comprehensive analysis of Midtown Mid Spa operated by Tracy Sekulovsky. Okay. And so now this, I'm going to pin that. Just as we have access to that data. So now, here, we have the first name, the last name, and we have a very comprehensive overview of the person and the business. This is what we feed into ChatGPT to get the personalized icebreaker. So go open AI and we go to message a model and let's just choose 4.0 mini. 4.0 mini, that's fine. I guess the system prompt I'll give it is you are an intelligent cold outreach assistant. You craft perfect personalized outreach messages. Okay, I think that should be fine. Now we'll add a message, and in the user thing is where we will put this. So I'll go to expression like this. Hyper personalized conversational icebreaker. Now prove you did research by listing facts. Instead, highlight one specific value or milestone and ask a curious, friendly question. One observation only, not combine or stack facts. Picks one specific detail. And output as this. Okay. So this thing needs to know everything about the person we're doing outreach to. Where is that? Well, we just had a set node with it, which it didn't seem to get. So let me just unpin this and let me clear the execution data and run this, which should take us straight to the set node. You know what? For now, because we're just doing this right here, I'm just going to deactivate this node. Oh, this is the network issue. Okay, let's wait for it. Okay, there's some Wi-Fi issues I was dealing with. Anyways, let's just run this again. Let's clear the execution data and try again. Okay, good. So now I connect this here, and I also go ahead and just pin this, and I'm gonna pin that. All right, so this thing is missing is it needs to get the actual text. So we'll just put the deep research right there. Now if I execute this step, killing me. You're killing me, really. Add option, go to output format, select type as JSON object, clear the execution data, run the workflow. Icebreaker. Tracy, your focus on natural results really stands out. What drives the philosophy for you? I'd honestly try swapping this out for Opus or Gemini and see what the difference is, right? It's a big part of learning is just experimenting. So see how that looks. Okay, now the next thing we're gonna do is now save this document to save the document. All right, so we're gonna go here. I'm gonna do Markdown to HTML, and the input of this thing is gonna be this text, this deep research. Right, that's our That's our markdown. So it's markdown to HTML. Okay. And if I execute a step, every time, because we have those if nodes, let's run it again from the start. We get this item in here. Oh, it's a lot of HTML. It's a lot of HTML. So now let's pin this. Okay, let's pin this. Let's add a set node. We're gonna collect a couple of things. We're gonna find a document underscore name, which if we go look at this edit fields one is the lead. We'll just name the document after the lead because the document is about the lead, right? Then we have the HTML content, which is exactly what the markdown node gave us. So that data will go there. And then you have your drive folder ID. This is just where you want to store the file. So I'm gonna just put it in my main drive folder, which is this ID. And when you find that is you open your Google Drive, you pick a folder, right? It doesn't matter which folder you pick. So if, for instance, I go here and I do drive slash this is gonna give me my home drive. So really doesn't matter, just like pick a drive, whichever drive you wanna go for, or go to new folder and we'll just call it leads, for example. And I open up leads and here I have a folder right there. So I can copy this and I can paste that there. Okay, now I'm gonna execute this step. And like always, just gonna run it from the start. Just gonna run it from the start. Perfect. So here we have the document name, the HTML content, and the drive folder I want it to go in. But we want to fix the configuration of this. So I'll pin this. I'm gonna go to a code node here and do code in JavaScript. And this code will all be in the description for you to look at. But I'll explain it to you like right now, just a little bit like in a very fast way for you to understand what it's gonna do. Okay, I'll run it first so you can just see the output, and then I'll explain to you why we needed to do this. So let's run it from the start. So what do we get here? We have gotten some kind of division, right? So we've split the information from just being looking like this to looking like this. This is the difference, what we've done with the code node, right? So you can see we got clean links. We have convert markdown table to HTML tables because the tables won't save in the Google it's gonna save as a Google Doc file, but the tables will not work if we don't convert them. So that's what this node does is we convert. Mainly the job is to convert the tables. Okay, and now the next step is to actually save it into a Google document. So we'll go to HTTP request, go to post. We're gonna use this URL here. GoogleAPIs.com upload drive v3 file is this just means question mark means variable. Upload type will be multi-part. Okay. Authentication, go predefined credential type and just use your Google Drive OAuth 2 API. So if I go look at my Google Drive, I have this OAuth 2 API. We'll go with that. This is the name of the project, RAG demo project. Okay, now we'll turn on send query parameters, and we said already, but I think we need to say it again, is that the upload type is multi-part, and we'll do supports all drives as true, okay? And then you turn on send body, but this will be raw actually. And the content type will be, I'm gonna just paste it in here. and it'll be in a multi-part slash related. Boundary will be divider. Last node gave us the divider. That was the code node. And this is the data. Okay, perfect. Let's run this from the start. I'm going to go to my leads now. I have a file here. What's the file? Comprehensive analysis of Midtown Spa. Leadership, operational infrastructure, and market positioning. Owned by this person. Medical oversight by this person. Who is she? All of this stuff. Okay, so this will actually save as a Google Doc. Now, if we have a table, do we have a table in here? No, there's no table. But usually sometimes there will be a table and you will have it good formatted if you make sure you apply the whole code node. But all the code will be in the description for you to look at, so don't worry about that. Okay, and now the next thing we're gonna do is take it to the Google Sheet. So we're gonna have a set node here. Set node. I'm gonna call this link. And where is it? Looking for the ID. All right, here's the ID. So now look, we open this up here, and you're just gonna go HTTPS this / you're gonna do docs.google.com/document d / pull in the ID here. Okay, pull in the ID, and then you're gonna go /edit, put question mark, put tab is equals t.0. This will give us a web view link for the thing. So if I just run this again, we have this. So if I open this in a browser, it gives us the actual dossier. Okay. That's exactly what we plug into the Google Sheet. So I open here the sheet. I'm going to do append row in sheet. So I'm going to just use this Google Sheet here, my dental lead database from list dental lead database. We'll just go with sheet 1. Map each column manually. Okay. So the last place we had all the stuff, I believe, was in this node here. So and this node here. Okay. So for example, summary will go into summary. Contact email will go into contact email. Contact phone will go there. Contact address will go there. First name, last name, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. There was nothing for TikTok. There was Google My Business. The actual link from the last one is what we'll be putting in as the dossier. And the icebreaker is here. Okay. So as you can see, our last lead was Calgary Dental Centers. And now if I go ahead and I run this and I go back to the Google Sheet, one, it has done some stuff, but not everything, obviously. So there's the title, the URL, the description. So if we go to loop over items, the title, we can pull it there. The URL, we'll pull it there. The description will be given there. The position is this, and fetched at, go to expression and write now with a $sign now. Okay, now clear execution data. We'll go here. I will delete this row. And actually, its position isn't really going to be number 1 because that's like if we didn't have all of this other stuff here. So we'll ignore the position for now. But basically, so if I go here, so you can see these are some of the leads we have to test out the system, and I run this. We get Midtown Med Spa. We have a URL, description, position, fetched at, summary, the email or phone, which didn't come through, their contact address, the name of the person who runs it, their Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, a dossier on the person that runs the business, who apparently their name is Tracy Sekulovsky, everything about them and the business, and we have an icebreaker. Tracy, your focus on natural results really stands out. What drives that philosophy for you? There you have it. Go into the system, go into the Appify node, double click on it, change your results per page, change the queries per page, max it out, run the system as much as you want. And that's how you get personalized outreach for leads.